This is the Aussie US on H4 time frame. You have noticed I cleared out all my lines. The question I always get is, how do you draw? What do you do when you're looking at support resistance lines? How do I define support and resistance lines? So, what I thought is I'll work through this process again together with you, just to draw those lines, just to define those lines, where to put in, your boundaries. So I think of support and resistance lines as a boundary. The lowest point, the support is your floor, the resistance is your roof. What it needs to break before it can go lower, or what it needs to break before it can go any higher. Very immediately at this point, I would have that line there at about 7113. So bear in mind, although I'm telling you the number here, it's not a definite number. We're looking in that region. So at about 7113 is a good support level. Just based on this view, this is on H4, so we're looking at about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks worth of info. I would say my next line is at about 7416. So what I'm looking at is, if it bounces off 7113, highest point it'll get to is about 7416 before we look at any further upside. This is a good 300, almost 300 pip range, but as we look at that, we're looking at about that kind of level. So I'll adjust it again, 7120 to about 73 or 74. So we're looking in that range. But what you notice here is we're heading in a downward fashion. It's set across, and last week we had that big downward move on the Aussie dollar. So I wouldn't be so keen to look to buy it up. I'll be looking to sell it down. So the question here is, what needs to happen? It needs to sit across, it needs to break 7120 before heading any lower. The tendency here for most traders will be to zoom out, okay, and you can't see any further down, and then zoom out again, and then you realize that you can't see anything, and then you zoom out further, and you've got crazy lines that you can't notice, anything at all. So what you can do here is, how I trade, how I look at my charts, I always want to be able to see whether it's a black or a white candle. So I always want that view. Go to the daily time frame, and you can see the next level down. The next level down is about 70. It's about a 70 flat. Okay, and then moving from that, you can see the next level would be about a 6.8, would be about a 6.833 level. Okay, so that's on the daily time frame. Coming back to the H4, this gives us a good idea that we anticipated to sit across, and if it does break below 7120, we could be looking at it heading towards the 70 flat as a support level. This is a very close support level. This is less than my usual of about 250 pip for a support level distance, but because this is a psychological level at about 70, or well, psychological level of 70 flat, this will be a key level. So I'm still looking for this to come down, break below this point towards 7000. That's the Aussie dollar on the H4 time frame. Another one, let's go to another example. The New Zealand dollar on the H4 time frame here. Again, quite similar to the Aussie dollar. I've got it as a support level at about 6800, well, 6820, at about there. Next resistance level, highest point on this view is at about a 7073. Again, the same with the Aussie dollar. We're looking at potential downside, like Scott was just sharing with you on the dollar index. We're looking at possibly some further continued dollar strength or sustained dollar strength, with Australia on severe lockdown, New Zealand now on lockdown as well, or introducing lockdowns. We're looking at some possible weakness from Australia and New Zealand. So looking at some further downside. What needs to happen here on the New Zealand dollar would be for it to break 6820 before we can see further downside. Same thing common problem most people do is zoom out all the way to try and see something. You can't get any information this way. Don't zoom out too much. Look at it on a daily time frame. You can still see it at this level. The next very far level down, I would say, is 6525, 6523, but that's very, very far away. That's a good 300 pips away. I would say another level you can look at is at about 66. Well, let's make it a nice terrible number at 666. So a 666 level. Okay, so we're looking at this on an H4 time frame. If it does turn back down and break below 6819, we could be looking at 0.6664. Okay, what that means is you could be looking at a good 130 pip move downwards if it breaks below this support level. Okay, so quite briefly, that's how I look at support and resistance lines. If you were to trade on a daily basis, you would have your lines there. You'll be adjusting it on a daily basis. If you are relatively new to trading, you could take the opportunity, clear out all your lines, draw it again, test it out. If you have any questions and you're in the Traders Club, head on to the Traders Club, ask the questions there, put up the chart, ask the questions. We're always there to review and help you adjust your lines if required.